You are now listening to Just Another Year Chicago with your host, Nick Rohde. Hello everyone and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde and today we are going to be going over tonight's matchup of the Chicago Bulls against another young and developing team, the Charlotte Hornets. Before we begin this episode, please remember to hit that subscribe button, follow me on Twitter at ChicagoNick, no K, and make sure to comment on this video as I want to hear your guys' thoughts on what you think about the Chicago Bulls so far this season. But today we are going to be going over strictly just the Chicago Bulls matchup against the Charlotte Hornets, who are currently sitting at 6-8, along with the Bulls, who are sitting at 6-8. It's going to be a very good game tonight, as the Bulls are riding a 2-game winning streak. After taking down the Dallas Mavericks this past Sunday, the Bulls have had a very long, and the Houston Rockets this past Monday night. So the Bulls have had a long break, much needed after their West Coast trip that they had over the last couple weeks. They are in Charlotte, though, and they are not in Chicago. And that's okay. That's totally fine. The Bulls needed a lot of rest. They've been practicing in Chicago over the last couple days, but also they're getting some of their players back. They're getting Thomas Satoransky back. They're getting back Chandler Hutchinson. And also Lauri Markkanen is looking completely like himself. He had a rough go over the last couple weeks due to being on COVID protocol, but now that he is playing, he's looking like his old self again. So good to see that. But Charlotte and Chicago, again, have the same record at 6-8, which isn't the best, but this is the best start for the Chicago Bulls in 4 years, and the Charlotte Hornets have been rebuilding for a very, very long time. They've really never had that star player except Kemba Walker, who is now on the Boston Celtics. Other than that, the Hornets have always been just a scrappy team that find ways to win, but at the same time, that's not going to get you by in the NBA. You need to have consistent play. You need to have a good record, and that's what they're doing. So 6-8 for these franchises is a win for them, especially over the last couple of seasons. They're both young teams. They're developing teams. They have strong coaching staffs, and they're looking to build through themselves and not free agency. A lot of teams in the early to mid 2000s and all the way up to the mid 2010s were strictly like, who's the big free agent we're going to get? Like LeBron going to Miami, Chris Bosh going to Miami, Dwayne Wade staying in Miami, Carlos Boozer coming to the Bulls. That year that LeBron made the decision was one of the biggest free agency seasons ever. And then you had the upcoming with Kawhi Leonard, you had Kevin Durant, not upcoming, the most recent one with Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, Paul George. You had a lot going on in free agency, and that's what a lot of teams have done to build themselves. But it seems that the new type of rebuild is kind of going old school, and that's building within yourself through the draft, having players come to your team that you bring in yourself. And you know what? I personally like that the most about the Hornets and the Chicago Bulls, is that these teams need a winner. They're looking for winners, and they're taking a chance on players. And players, when they develop, go, okay, this is where I want to be. This is where I'm starting my NBA career. This is where I want to, a lot of people want to finish. I mean, no one wants to leave. I mean, once you get comfortable, unless there's obviously bad ownership, bad decisions made, kind of what was going on with the Bulls last year. But I like what the Bulls are doing. I like what the Hornets are doing. They're rebuilding within themselves. They're rebuilding through the draft. Their farm system now the G League, which is the NBA's minor league, is definitely doing a great job at that. So I like the look of both these teams. And speaking of rebuilding to themselves, the Bulls and the Hornets had back-to-back picks this year. The Hornets were third, the Bulls were fourth. And the Hornets took point guard LaMelo Ball, he's ripping it up. He's a tall, lanky point guard who's fast, has really good eyesight to see the court, makes really flashy passes, tricks out the defense, and is a good shooter. I think that the Hornets definitely scored big on him. I know that if he fell at 4, the Bulls were very likely to take him. But the Bulls then drafted at 4 Patrick Williams, who is, according to Bleacher Report, is the number 3 rookie in the NBA right now, which is great. I mean, a lot of people were like, who, when we drafted him? A lot of people were scared because he was the youngest player in the draft at 19 years old. He came off the bench while he played at Florida State at his only year in college as a true freshman. And a lot of people were like, are you sure we're going to take this guy? And he's doing really well in the NBA, still 19 years old. LeBron James even gave him a compliment when the Bulls played the Lakers a couple weeks ago that he has hands like Kawhi Leonard. And, they call him the Claw because his hands are Kawhi Leonard because his hands are so big. And now they're calling Patrick Williams the Paw, which I thought wasn't the greatest analogy considering his hands are just as big as Kawhi Leonard's. But kind of just downplaying it as, oh, it's the Claw's child. So I thought that was a little cute on that end. But, overall, two great rookies going at it tonight. You have Patrick Williams, who's one of the best defensive rookies in the league, and you have LaMelo Ball, who's one of the best offensive rookies in the league. So they're going to go up against each other tonight. Expect a lot of defensive matchups on them because they're both learning. It's also a look at the future, which is really exciting. They could be battling each other for quite some time, considering they're both young. LaMelo's in his early 20s, and Patrick Williams is 19 years old. So, he could have a long career. If Patrick Williams has a career like LeBron James, this could be, and if they were to both, this could be, almost a 2-decade matchup if they were to stay healthy, stay at a high competitive level. So we'll see about that, but I'm looking forward to that matchup tonight. I'm also looking forward to Zach LaVine staying red hot as he has been. Zach LaVine has scored over 32 points out of his last 6 games. That's all-star level. MVP talk, still too early to tell. I don't know if Zach LaVine is exactly an MVP. Zach LaVine still, is getting better at hitting those game-winning shots. He's had closeout game shots. His defense couldn't help him. Then the times that the game could have been won by the Bulls, he unfortunately did miss a shot or didn't pass it to the wide open guy. I love Zach LaVine. I think that I liked him ever since we got him. A lot of Bulls fans haven't, but I think he's done great. So he's the leader of the team, and we need to move forward with that. I'm also excited tonight to see Lauri Markkanen, Bulls big man, standing at 7 feet tall. He's good. He wanted a contract extension this past offseason. The Bulls declined that and said, you need to prove it. You need to prove that you deserve this money because you haven't played the last 2 seasons. He played well. So this is his 4th season, and he played well his first year. He played well his second year. In his 3rd year, he was injured. Or the end of his 2nd year, he was injured. His 3rd year, he was never really on the court. He was constantly injured. And then his 4th year, he's doing well. Sure, he had COVID. That's pretty... you can't really miss that, unfortunately. And I'm happy that he's okay. But Lauri Markkanen needs to continue to prove that he's worth that big money. And I could see the Bulls bringing him back. Again, the Bulls want to be young. They want to be dynamic. They want to have guys that can do it all. And Lauri Markkanen can do that. He's 7 feet tall. He's proven to run the court like a point guard at 7 feet tall, which is impressive, even though he's never played the point. He shoots threes, which is key for a big man, especially because big men don't do well on the perimeter. And if you put someone smaller on him, he's just going to shoot over them. And then he can rebound the ball. It's something the Bulls have been missing for a long time. And I think that, Lauri, I like Lauri. I just want to see him keep progressing, keep doing better, not just sitting there and going, okay, I'm going to do well 1 year, and then they're going to pay me, and then I'm going to just relax. I don't think he's worth a max contract. I don't think he's worth a super. If he's not worth a max contract, he's obviously not worth a super max contract. But I think Lauri Markkanen is a great player. I look forward to seeing him play and continue to stay healthy over the rest of the season, and that's great to see for the Bulls. So, the whole team as a whole is just clicking on all cylinders right now. So I'm hoping that the Bulls end up 7-8 tonight after the win. As some of you may not know, but the Charlotte Hornets are also owned by Michael Jordan. So it'd be nice to, see MJ in his box watching over the game and seeing his old team and his team that he owns now go at it. Story behind why he owns the Charlotte Hornets is because he's from North Carolina. He went to North Carolina for basketball in college. So, it makes sense for him to own the team that from where he's from. And it'd be nice. I think that Michael Jordan should take over the Bulls with all the money he has after. I don't know how he would feel owning 2 teams, especially when they go up against each other. But I see him continuing to own the Hornets for a long time. I just think it's a cool little story that he grew up a kid that didn't come from much, and he was able to, work his way up to being the greatest basketball player of all time. No argument there. And people with LeBron will be like, oh, LeBron's better. I don't think so. But, it's a cool little story. But overall, the Bulls are, again, looking better. It's going to be a tough matchup against the Hornets tonight. Again, another young team. But we'll see where it goes. So my prediction for tonight is that the Bulls are going to win 111-105. I think it's going to be a close matchup as it's been all year for Bulls against all teams. And if the Bulls can pull this one away and, win by 20, that'd be great. Problem with the Bulls that I said in the last podcast about the Bulls is that they don't know how to hold on to leads. And that happened against the Houston Rockets. When I turned on the TV in the fourth quarter with like 5 minutes left. They're up by 10, and sure, they won by 6, but they were within 2 at one point. Bulls can't do that. Young teams, they are a young team, and I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt of that, but you got to hit that. You got to be able to, hit shots. You got to be able to, hit the iron while it's hot and, keep going and win big. Don't make it close. Don't ever let a team get back into it, because the second the clock strikes 0, that's when you're a winner or a loser. People could look and be like, oh, yeah, I was winning for 90% of the game, but if you lost, you obviously did something bad in the last 10%. So, short episode today. Just a quick talk about what's going on with the Bulls, the matchup tonight, but we'll be back on Sunday. Might even do one tomorrow. You never know. In regards to the Bulls moving forward, and maybe the Blackhawks. And the Blackhawks do play tonight, by the way. So, with that, that's it for today. Please remember to hit that subscribe button, share your thoughts, follow me on Twitter @ChicagoNick, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys. Happy Friday.